7 months ago, my life flipped completely upside down when I got a wild hair to check my husband's Apple Watch. And in 2 seconds, I found some of the most disgusting text messages that I have ever read from a married man. And I discovered his infidelity. And 24 hours later, he and his parents walked out of my house. I lost, at the time, what I felt like was my whole life. And for anybody saying, it's been 7 months, get over it, it's very apparent you've never experienced anything like this before, as this is the most traumatic thing I have ever been through in my entire life. I lost my best friend, I lost an entire marriage, I lost essentially the father of my kids, my life partner, in a split second. And I wasn't expecting it. I've spent the last 7 months trying to figure out what life is going to look like for me and my girls, as we are in the middle of a divorce that I had no control over.
Well, clearly, guys, she just didn't pay enough attention to the man, and he was forced to look for love elsewhere. Am I right? At least that's the narrative that we hear when it happens to men. But anyway, gentlemen, what the hell is going on? Welcome back to the desert. As today we're going to be discussing the topic of divorce, or divorce as I like to call it. And man, what a sunny, bright and beautiful day it is outside my tomb, to be honest with you guys. But today we're not going to touch grass. Today instead we're going to get in touch with the topic of divorce, as mentioned. So without further ado, let's cover this video down by the wall. Let's comment along the way.
And life is going to look a whole lot different. I am now going to be the provider for the three of us, and
we're going to skip over what the wall has to say for the sake of the length of the video. You can check this video on his page, as I'm trying to emulate his good understanding of the algorithm, because my channel is dying, guys. So I just suck at understanding the algorithm, not gonna lie.
Out of the house in 24 hours.
spent a lot of time figuring out what I wanted that to look like and how I wanted that to be and how much I didn't want the girls' lives to shift and change for the choices that someone else made. And for the first time in 7 months, I'm excited about the future and what this is going to do for me and my kids. And
I mean, the important thing, guys, is that he's looking for his own happiness, isn't it? Screw the kids. He's chasing his happiness. Isn't that the most important thing in our lives? It sounds absurd when I say it. I am even ashamed that I have to say this in such a dire situation, and I sympathize for what has happened to this woman. But it's just women say this and do this all the time. Oh, but it's about my happiness. I don't care about the kids. I don't care about the vows I pronounced in front of the altar. All that matters is my happiness. And this man, I found something better, you know?
I'm proud of me for doing way more than I ever imagined that I could. And I think that life is about to get a whole lot better for us. And I think we're going to have a life that we never ever could have had before. And I'm grateful and I'm excited. And for the first time in a really long time, I'm hopeful because things are looking up. I started sharing my journey here in March, and this all started in January. And I never dreamed that this is what that was going to look like, that 230,000 people were going to start following me and my redemption story.
Now, this is what I tell you guys. Again, I don't think that she doesn't deserve these people and this support. I'm all happy for her. It just rubs me the wrong way that when men go through this, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit, alright? When have you seen a man sharing his story online and 200,030 people following along the journey, you know, and all the supportive comments. When have you seen that? You haven't seen it because it didn't occur. Men, just nobody cares about them. I mean, I care about men, but that's one person, you know. The manosphere cares about men. But, you know, on a cultural level, society simply doesn't care about men. And it's what it is. Again, I'm happy that this woman is getting support. Hey, I just wish that men, sometimes we men also need support, especially when they cheat on us and steal our kids and steal half our crap. You know, it's not a very positive moment. I wish that society would not turn its back on us. And instead of saying, oh, you lost her, bro. You probably didn't pay enough attention to her. She had to look for love somewhere else. Instead of that, some, I don't know, sympathy maybe. But we don't get that because we are men. We don't deserve it, guys.
But I'm excited, and I'm here to tell you that that story starts now. So, thank you for being here, and I hope you'll stick around to see where life takes us.
Yeah, so I think the TikTok ends right here. Do we have another one?
How?
Oh, yeah, we have another one. So let's see where this one starts, gentlemen, and we'll do one more.
So funny how people can tear your life apart, have a hand in tearing your life apart, and then they want to tell you how to live your life. I became a single mom this year and have had to navigate and figure out how I'm going to provide for my kids. I will be the primary provider for my kids. Child support does not cover what it should cover.
I honestly doubt that, but I mean, if you say so.
I had to figure out what was going to work best for me and my kids. In my marriage, we chose for me to be a stay-at-home mom since day one. That was the life that we chose for us so that I could be present for my kids all the time. There were sacrifices that were made financially and otherwise in order for me to do that for our children. And now that the other party has chosen not to be in this marriage, I need to be told what I can and cannot do in order to survive and take care of my children. And the audacity is free this year. I can do whatever I want in the same way that these people felt like they could do whatever they wanted within my marriage. I think people need to stay in their own lane in the same way that they want everyone else to stay in their lane when they meddled in someone else's life. If I want to make money online, I can make money online, and
Please don't tell me that she is on OnlyFans. Please. Just please don't tell me she's on OnlyFans, man. Oh no. Well, let's find out.
I can be a caregiver for my children, and I can give us a life that we wouldn't have had before. That's my choice. And I don't think anybody else should be allowed to make any choices for me after they've chosen this for me in the first place. This is not the life that I signed up for. This is not the life I agreed upon. This is what has been given to me by other people. And now I get to live it however I choose.
What? Yeah, and she chooses professional institution. That's what she chooses. Now, I get this. People often cope this way. But the fact of the matter is, no matter what happens in your life, nobody is forcing you into professional instituting yourself online. Nobody forced you to do that. And I was just thinking, guys, while watching this video, what is she talking about? People are holding her accountable for something. What is happening? What did she do? What is she talking about? And then it hit me, you know, when she said, oh, I'm making money online. She's doing OnlyFans. Disgusting. So let me get this straight. To provide financial support for your children, you're going to ruin their emotional and social lives. Can you imagine going to school, guys? And don't even imagine this with yourself, but can you imagine some other kids? They go to school, everybody has seen their mom naked. It's embarrassing. So to provide for them on a financial level, because supposedly child support doesn't cover it, You're gonna have to sell your body online. Disgusting. I was just about to say, guys, that this woman is quite attractive. You know, she could have taken her attractiveness to be with another man. Guys, she's very attractive for her age. I find her very attractive, well put, good looking. If you tell this story to some men, my ex-husband cheated on me, I was a stay-at-home mom, I'm a traditional woman, I'm a good woman, they cheated on me, I couldn't do anything. Guys, there are a lot of men that will sign up for that, alright? There are a lot of men that also come from divorces, or they also have children. There are a lot of men that will want to have a relationship, marriage with you, that will have helped you in that situation. And again, you sacrifice any future prospects of a healthy relationship for online professional institution. Just pathetic, guys. These women, you put destiny in their hands, and they just put it in a toilet. They just put it in a baboon's a-hole. You take all the chances that you had at fixing your life. I mean, all right, something terrible happened to you. Okay, we've been dealt a bad hand. What can we do about it? And what you do about it is trash your future life and that of your children. Guys, absolutely terrible decision this woman made. Let's move on to another TikTok, the last one.
And today is mediation day, and I'm feeling anxious, unsettled, I think is the best way to describe it. I just have thoughts today because a year ago, there's photos and videos of us from, watching college football with friends and going out bowling and being affectionate in public and having fun. And if you had told me then that this is where we would be at in a year's time, I would have absolutely laughed in your face. I just would have, because I never, ever imagined that this is where we would be. But today, we will sit in 2 separate rooms with attorneys and a mediator, and we will split up our entire life. The last 14 years of my life, the majority of my adult life. Everything will be split. And that's just really weird. Really weird. I'm hoping and praying today for a good outcome for my kids.
To be honest, guys, not everything is going to be split. She's probably getting the majority of child custody for her. I don't know how the laws are in the USA this woman is from. Here in Europe, for the majority of countries, it is the person who doesn't get child custody gets to see the children for the weekend every second week. So a total of 4 days a month here in Europe. I don't know if it's the same in the USA. She's probably keeping child custody. She also gets child support. This is not a 50-50, all right? And also the stuff around the house and all that belong to him. So now you're getting 50% of it. In this case, it's all right because you wanted to be a single mother. Excuse me, not a single mother. You wanted to be a stay-at-home mother. So, of course, you couldn't provide for yourself, so I get it. But then again, it's not a 50-50, And what happens to men when the reverse scenario is true and the woman cheats? So now you're in a marriage where your wife cheated and she's still getting 50% of your crap and your kids and child support.
And for me. And I'll let you guys know how it goes.
Well, here ends the story of this woman, guys. Am I understanding this wrong? I'm quite certain I understood she's doing OnlyFans. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Maybe I understood it the wrong way. Maybe people are trying to hold her accountable for some other thing. But this whole thing of, well, I didn't want to do this, but now I'm making money online. I mean, maybe she's referencing TikTok, because on TikTok, 230,000 views get you a lot of money. But what I understood is OnlyFans, alright? Correct me if I'm wrong. If it's, I hope it's not. But if it's OnlyFans, you really have screwed your life and that of your children. But now, guys, let's move on to one last TikTok. And this one is of a divorce coach. But this one is actually intelligent. All right, I've watched this guy previously and I like him. This is not your average TikTok influencer dating coach. So let's have a listen to what he has to say.
Which was enforceable, had
He's punished.
the most shocking prenup I've ever seen, which was enforceable, had a provision that said that for every 10 pounds the wife gained in the marriage, she would lose $10,000 a month in alimony. He was very concerned that she was going to become less attractive and he was going to become more wealthy. So his solution to this was in the prenuptial agreement. He wanted a clause that said if they divorced, she was going to get like $70,000 a month for alimony. But for every 10 pounds she gained from the date of marriage, she would forfeit $10,000 a month worth of alimony. And it was designed to sort of create an incentive that she would remain thin. And that was enforceable, meaning they tried to challenge and set aside that provision. And the court said, this is a disgusting provision. I don't know why you married this person, but it's enforceable. It's a contract. The two of you signed it and you had a right to sign it and you agreed to these rules, and they may be ridiculous rules, but you agreed to them and you have a right to do that. I think it's a kind of love. I think it's a form of love. Is it a form of love I'd be interested in? No, I think it's very shallow in some ways. There's something very honest about it. I mean, you can't argue with the fact that there's something very upfront about it. He was making very clear and putting in writing, here's the value you bring to this relationship. I consider your physical appearance vitally important to this relationship. And by the way, don't skip the other side of that equation. She was going to get $70,000 a month. That's a very impressive number. So I think she also understood there was a value to be attached to him as well. Is it something I would be interested in on either side of that equation? No. But do I have a right to say to someone that's not love? I don't think I have a right to say that to someone. I think that if this is an economy the two of you have agreed on, you know, as a lawyer, see, my job as a lawyer is not to look, like, I don't look at it that way. I look at the engineering of it. So, like, if I'm representing her in that transaction, all I could think is, okay, so we're going to want her baseline weight to be as high as possible. So I'm going to want her to have pennies in her pockets at the day we sign the prenup, because you'd have to establish a baseline, right? Because if you say gaining 10 pounds, you'd have to establish a baseline weight on the date of the marriage. So if I'm her, I want that to be as high as possible. So I'm going to be putting pennies in my pockets and eating as many cheeseburgers as I can before the weigh-in. Now, we're getting divorced. I'm going to be like a wrestler. I'm going to be in the sauna. I'm going to be sweating as much as I can. I'm going to take diuretics. I'm going to eat nothing but like grilled vegetables for a week or two, you know? I'm going to take off every ounce of clothing I can because I want to minimize my weight. This is why lawyers don't get invited to parties, because that's how we analyze problems. Like, I didn't hear that and go, what is the nature of their coupling? I looked at it and I went, oh, I could play with that. I could, whoever I'm representing in that transaction, I could figure out a way to, you know, kind of make that work.
Cocaine.
That is just crazy. That is a crazy prenup. But well, the man is in it for the looks. The woman is in it for the money. Nothing new under the sun, to be honest. But this, guys, is a real divorce coach, alright? This is a person who's handled thousands of divorces. I've watched him, cannot quite remember his name right now, but you can look him up really easily. He's the most famous one, and he's gone on multiple interviews, all of them very interesting. He has a lot of insights to divorce and men and women. He doesn't pick a side, to be honest with you. He represents whomever, and this is a real divorce coach, all right? Not some 45-year-old woman that has gone through one divorce and now thinks that she knows it all just because she spent 10 months crying about it. All right, and then takes a look at her energy stones to provide her with further wisdom. So, gentlemen, it was nice to cover a real divorce coach for a change. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.